Speaking of tech, Elon Musk just announced that he plans to build his own utopia in Austin, Texas. Just gets a laugh on the premise. With affordable housing for his employees. I mean, he is a visionary. He does. I mean, we didn't see electric cars or landable rockets or, living on Mars. I mean, this guy thinks big. What are your thoughts? By the way, if I was going to build utopia, all respect to Austin, I wouldn't put it there. I mean, that's his name. And I like Austin. I like Austin a lot. Sure. I keep it weird every time I go.
Okay, this is Elon Musk Utopia. The stage lights are blazing, the crowd is humming, and it's another free-for-all night on Real Time with Bill Maher. Tonight, however, is going to be an incredible one, Elon Musk. Yes, Elon Musk just revealed his latest bombshell. He wants to create a utopia for his workers in Austin, Texas. We're talking about affordable housing, innovation hubs, and the whole futuristic fantasy package. Elon is essentially pitching Silicon Valley as well, but is claiming to make it affordable. But wait, Bill Maher and his group of influential thinkers aren't just nodding and applauding today. They're actually tearing this dream apart live on stage. Does Musk truly have a vision for the future of humanity, or is this just another billionaire's fever dream that is degenerating into egotistical chaos? This episode delves deeply into the harsh realities of attempting to create a flawless society in a world that is anything but perfect, much like a philosophy lecture at 2 in the morning. Hold on tight, for this is one of those evenings when aspiration and reality collide, with sarcasm, truth bombs, and sobering reality checks.
And I'm not sure that he's thought hard enough about how a utopia would actually work beyond the kind of Disney World beautiful picture that it would be in the beginning. I don't trust him to do this. I think I'd rather see a bunch of people put their heads together. But
there's no such thing as utopia. How about that?
Well, there's that
don't ever use the word utopia or think you can create a utopia under it. What a fool's errand that
Everybody
is.
would be
Talk
happy
about an
there.
over-promising con man. I'm going to build a...
Yeah. Also, utopia is a personal concept, and my personal concept isn't the same as Elon's, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And so, my first thought was like, well, I definitely will not be living there.
Okay, Elon Musk is back at it. But this time is not just throwing rockets and peddling flamethrowers. Instead, he's working to create an actual utopian town for his workers in Austin, Texas. Imagine it, affordable housing, cutting-edge infrastructure, and innovation at every turn. It sounds futuristic, right? Maybe even a little inspiring. But not so quickly, as a panel on Real Time with Bill Maher is tearing into this idea like it's an overcooked steak, asking the big questions most likely left out of the sales pitch. Can you really create a perfect society without slamming into some major real-world issues? The problem is that utopias aren't one-size-fits-all. Rather, they're essentially shaped by whoever is in charge. As a result, what one might consider to be paradise may wind up feeling more like a billionaire's pet project for the people who are forced to live there. Yes, problems like sustainability, diversity, and governance are already major red flags. Musk's ideal community may seem ideal on paper, but bringing it to life would require a very different approach than Mars.
Impact, if any, can we expect the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank? Oh, yes, to have on our financial system. If you didn't see, I saw this has just happened in a Silicon Valley Bank, one of the biggest banks in Silicon Valley, obviously they're tech, right? That's what they finance. I think the biggest bank failure since the 2008 crash. I guess we should have seen it coming because there's been a lot of layoffs and Bitcoin. Is this what this bank is, Bitcoin?
So Silicon Valley Bank's this 40-year-old bank from the Valley. It was designed and funded originally to make sure that startups, which have a tough time getting money, could get some money. If this were called the Lehigh Valley Bank, we would not really be paying that much attention to it. It's the Silicon Valley Bank part that's sexy, but the truth is it's a small bank. So it's got about 150 billion in capital. JP Morgan has 3 trillion. The only reason to be concerned about it is the knock-on effects of confidence, but it's a small bank that got caught short. It's the oldest story in the world.
But are we bailing out Bitcoin losers?
No, it's not. Okay. This is not about Bitcoin.
All right.
This is about a shortfall where they misaligned their bond spending with the amount coming in. They lost depositor confidence. It happened overnight. it's possible this gets contained.
Is it absolutely central to the startup industry, or is it just a bank that some startups?
It used to be 40 years ago. It is
But
no
now,
longer
no
central.
longer, right.
No.
Silicon Valley Bank, the bank that essentially supported half of the tech startup industry, recently failed. And although it's not quite another 2008 financial crisis, it serves as a stark reminder of how precarious the modern financial system is. Here's the short version. When interest rates skyrocketed, the value of the long-term bonds that Seth BBB was hoarding like Pokemon cards plummeted. And when startups began withdrawing their funds all at once, we just did not have the funds to cover it. The entire movie sequence, minus someone shouting to sell everything, is classic bank panic chaos. But it gets worse. When the attitude changed from one of innovation to cash bleeding, that hyper-concentration of risk became a huge flashing "we're screwed" sign. CBC wasn't just any old bank. They were laser focused on startups and tech industries that are already roller coaster rides even when the economy is cool. Low as the bottom line. Full as a harsh reminder that even the most astute investors can be caught asleep at the wheel. And for mid-sized banks attempting to balance stability and innovation, it serves as a lesson in what not to do. It's not just about poor financial decisions.
That idea that everybody's supposed to go to college, everybody is supposed to get a good, solid high school education. That's another rant. But then you're supposed to go out and ply a trade unless you want to do the rather rarefied thing of go to college. That's one way that the old days were better than now. It's mission creep that everybody goes to college. And it's not true that if you don't go to college, you are going to be selling pencils on the street. There are many perfectly legitimate careers. We just need to learn how to talk about it more.
Right.
The other thing that
Could not agree more.
there's another phenomenon that I think is fascinating, which is kids are learning how to do stuff professionally from YouTube.
That's a good point.
And so if you are a coder, more often than not, you're watching a 90-minute video on how to use CSS, and it's moving at your own pace, frequently much faster than the education system can possibly get you there.
Go to school.
One example from this weekend, the Daniels, the guys who directed Everything Everywhere All at Once, they went to film school, and they are the ones who say, don't ever go to film school. Watch YouTube and learn it. And
Well, that's for sure. That's for sure true about the arts.
about the arts.
You don't need school for the arts. In fact, they
MFA,
probably make it work.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
I mean,
that's
either you have it or you don't. I mean, it's just not something you can learn in
Just a guy
school.
with a PhD and a guy with an MA.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
but still.
yeah.
Don't be like us.
Don't be like us.
Okay, so you can learn that on YouTube. But what about, you mentioned Shakespeare. Now, were you, let me read into that. Were you saying Shakespeare is past his prime?
I was being hyperbolic, but
Do you still like Shakespeare?
I think Shakespeare is a swell guy, but you should learn. You should learn about him in high school. All
Right.
of that should be packed in. Much more should be packed into the high school education. Maybe even have a 13th grade. Then, if you're going to go into finance, go work in a bank. You can work in a bank when you're 19. That's the
Right.
way I would like it to be. Shakespeare's great, but the 4 years where your mind is being expanded, expand your mind when you're a teenager, then go get a job. There's nothing abnormal about it.
They're expanding their minds when they're in many ways.
Okay, let's face it, college enrollment in America is plummeting, and it's easy to understand why. For decades, it was marketed to us as a golden ticket that would allow us to pursue our dreams of earning a degree, landing a job, and living the good life. However, now that people are waking up, they are asking themselves, is it really worth it? The price tag is ridiculous. You're committing to 4 years of debt, tens of thousands of dollars, and for what? A piece of paper that doesn't even guarantee a job. Meanwhile, real-world skills like coding and digital marketing trades can be acquired more quickly, more affordably, and without selling your soul to Sally Mae. And let's not even talk about how bloated the entire system has gotten. You're living in a dorm, attending classes you'll never use, and paying interest on student loans you didn't fully understand when you enrolled. It's as if higher education has forgotten its original purpose of preparing people for careers and has become some strange, costly coming-of-age ritual for everyone, even if it doesn't align with their objectives. College isn't dead, but the outdated belief that everyone needs a 4-year degree is still rapidly disintegrating. And it's about time. Hey, thank you so much for joining us today. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear more candid discussions about the world we live in, please hit the like button, share it with your friends, and turn on the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. We sincerely appreciate your time, and we hope to see you in the next one.